the passing game in general towards the way those players are, you know what I mean, thought of, analyzed, paid.
Certainly. Brian Kelly's joining us now here, live at Colts camp. Report day, camp number 9?
Close, 8.
8 for you?
Yep.
When you see 97 degrees on Friday, your thought is what?
I did see that. It's just going to be tough, but that's training camp, you know. I was telling them on the way in, like from the time you're, in the third grade to now, August is hot no matter where you go. So
that's a great point.
I'm thankful not to be at Anderson. I feel like there was not a hotter place in the country.
Does it have a back to school? Ryan, those of us who never played professional sports cannot relate to the thought of training camp. The only thing that we have to compare it to is that feeling when you're a kid the last couple of weeks of summer of like looking at the calendar like, Is it have you're smirking almost like where I'm going with that. Does it have the same type feeling?
Yeah, a little bit. I think we always joke like once July 4th hits, it's just all downhill from there. Because you think you've got like a great off season, a great summer, and then July 4th hits, and you're like, in 2 weeks I'm gonna be in training camp, But then you get here and it's like it's kind of the excitement of that first day of school, where like you're seeing the guys again for the first time in a month and a half. It's the excitement for a new season, a new coaching staff, everything, and the 8 years that I've been doing it in the pros, it's like every year is so different. So there is like that welcome back first day of school feeling, and it's awesome.
I have a really dumb question, not shocking. Do you guys get paid year-round or just in season?
So your 18 weeks gets spread out over double that. Okay. So before it was just once a week, and then once the season was over, you stopped.
Yeah, I was going to say, because there was a time, was there not, when at least you came here and you're like, oh, man, at least the direct deposits came back in.
You do get paid during training camp, but for like the season goes, you used to get paid week 1 to the very end of the season, and then the hose is off. Now they just doubled it to kind of stretch out in March, help some guys out.
Gotcha.
I obviously want to talk some football questions, but I think, and you guys have been very public about this, you and your wife, Emma, and frankly, having to go through hell from a parenting standpoint here in the last couple of years, and I look to 97 degrees on Friday, and I think about you. I also think about your wife. Fill us in.
Yeah.
Due with twins in when?
Sometime around the beginning of the season.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so just kind of depends with twins. You just never know. But
congrats. I think I speak for everybody. You guys, again, been through absolute hell. And how's she doing? How's she feeling? I can't imagine being pregnant, let alone twins, let alone during the summer.
Yeah, it's tough. Just watching her go through, like, giving birth when, your body is not supposed to the first time with our daughter, to bearing her, to trying again, that process taking a long time. Like, at a point in the last season, like, I got down to, like, 285 pounds, which I hadn't been that since I was in high school, and I think it was just, like, the stress. And, like, that's the thing about football is, like, the world keeps going, right? And, like, you have to adjust and find a way to, like, push through, and it was tough. So I say all that because, like, my wife was the strongest person I've ever met. Like, people always think like men are super tough, football players are big tough guys. Like, no, like watching her go through that process, and then now like her body being able to do what it does with twins is insane. And so like I wouldn't still be here if I wasn't for her. And she's just an incredible rock star of a wife and a mom. But they'll be here before we know it, and life will be a lot different.
Sure. Well, so, good luck in that process. Again, everybody obviously rooting for you there.
Yeah.
You just said down to 285 last year. Did that impact your play?
I think there was a lot of things going on. I was battling through a lot of mental stuff too. Like it wasn't like I just finished a 21 season and that was it. It was like a lot of carryover from grieving my daughter to a bunch of other stuff. And at the end of the day, like people don't really care. That's what I've realized is like life keeps going on. You're still a football player, and we had a really great support system of like players and stuff like that. And after last season, like I took a step back from like everything, and I was like I need to just take a break, and then I came back into it. And when Shane got hired, met Tony, and it was like that rebirth of like, yes, this is still what I want to do. I love this game. Like I'm not ready to be done. Like just because the last like year and a half was such a blur of like ups and downs and so much low. And now after going through like April to June and with the guys and with Tony, like I've never been like more excited for a season and like felt like we were going to go do something great again. You know what I mean?
How close were you to saying year 7 was it?
I don't know. I mean, probably not that serious. I think I was just in a really dark place with just all of the life stuff going on around me. I knew I wasn't ready to be done with football. I still loved it. it was hard to get going every day, when there's so many external factors playing in your life. And but once, like I said, once the season was over and I was able to get away for like a week or two, I was like, no, I'm not done playing. I still love this game. I've got a lot to do, a lot to prove to myself and other people.
Mental health, Ryan, is such an important and yet enigmatic thing for anybody, right?
Yep.
Not only how we handle it ourselves, but also how we handle it in other people and seeing it in other people. This organization has made a pretty public stand about mental health and mental health awareness in the last couple of years. It's the only organization you played for, so I know you can't speak to what it would have been like elsewhere. Mm-hmm. But was that, I guess, some sort of a comfort to you, number one, and did it make it easier to kind of blend and be open about what you were going through within your job?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not naive to think that, like, I know people that went through similar situations for us who didn't play in the NFL, and those people were back to work, within a couple weeks. And, like, I can't imagine that. Like, they didn't have to go do physical things on Sunday, but just the day-to-day, your emotions, your energy is so zapped by what's going on in your brain. And the Colts were fantastic in that. Like, they never rushed me back. They said I could take as much time as I wanted. And I still think that they knew I wouldn't be right. But, like, the one thing that my wife and I have realized is it took us a while to get to this point, but, like, being open and helping people out and just speaking about it, like, everybody's going through something, right? Like, no one's got a perfect life. No one's going through, a smooth transition to anything. But, like, being vulnerable to open and talk about it, like, it's helped us and it's helped some other people. And I think the Colts have done, like I said, they're the only people I know in organizations of the NFL that truly talk about it and care about it. I think it's one thing to promote it, do these things, but to actually be about it and for your players who, it's a very cutthroat business and you have to make decisions at the end of this month, but they still care about you no matter where you go or if you're here or not. I think that's an incredible test of who they are and, like, truly caring.
Have you had people that have come up to you, at the grocery store, at the movie theater, whatever it might be? Have you had people that have come up to you that have said, you know what, like, I never told anybody this, but I could relate. I've been there.
Oh, yeah. We hosted a Mother's Day event last year. It's a long story. I'll make it short. For mothers who had just lost, like, babies, right? Mother's Day is very hard when you don't have your kid to hold. So my wife did what she always does, amazing things for other people, and we're there, and it's like I'm looking around like, is any husbands or men going to, like, show up to this thing? And they did. And I could tell when they were kind of coming in, they were very apprehensive to, they didn't know, because, man, we don't talk about these things sometimes, right? It's hard to meet a random guy, be like, what are you going through, But in that moment, like, I would just go up to the guys and just talk to them, like, like, tell me your story, tell me your son, tell me your daughter you lost. And to see, like, a physical weight being lifted off their shoulders in that moment was like, it made all the suck that we've been through worth it, right? Because, like, that guy is helping me, I'm helping him in the same way that, like, that's one connection. That guy might go to somebody else, right? And, like, these people that are living with this, like, burden of fire in their heart and their soul, they go out there and they do that to somebody else. Makes the world a better place. So, I mean, I've been very, very fortunate to be able to do that.
It's an incredible torch you guys are carrying. So kudos to you guys for that, and thank you from a community standpoint for doing that. Again, Ryan Kelly is with us here, first-round pick of the Colts back in 2016. He's going to snap to his 733rd different quarterback here coming up tomorrow for his first training camp. You said the word miscommunication, I feel like, quite often in the spring when asked about the O-line issues from last season. You expand on that? What you mean by miscommunication as being kind of the big 2022 issue?
Yeah, I think that, I could sit here for hours and go into, how guys were, if there's a difference in pass sets as far as, like, the guard to the center to the tackle, like, there was just a lot of external things that, we never buttoned up as a group and as an offense. And, I think everybody looks back on it and, like, yeah, like, we didn't have the season we wanted to. But then going back into the spring, Tony pulled up a bunch of clips from us throughout last year, and it was like, no, like, you guys are doing really good stuff. Like, if you watch these clips, guys are just mauling people, right? But then it's like, we miss one thing here, or, like, this call doesn't get communicated out, or doesn't get communicated to the quarterback, or that there was a breakdown of some kind of communication, and that's what causes the bad problems. And so, try to leave it in the past, right? Because I think it's a new offense, it's a new system, there's new guys. And we've done it before. We just have to, get back into it.
Last one from me. You're a smart dude. You get how the NFL operates. Are you the NFLPA rep? still for the team?
I'm on the EC now, so I'm no longer the rep.
Okay,
yes.
so you're even higher up. From an NFLPA standpoint, was there ever a point, January, February, you thought, man, I don't know if I'm going to be here in 2023? Like, when did you get that reassurance? Did you ever have that thought that you might not be here, given your contract, given your age, those sorts of things?
I mean, I think as you get older, you always think about it, but no, I mean, like when I talked to Shane, and like I think I was one of Shane's first calls, and Tony called me and talked about all the great things we were going to do. It was like, yeah, like this is the same call I needed to hear when I was contemplating, whether I still love this game after last year and all the ups and downs, and mostly all the downs, right? And it's amazing though, like what a new face can come in and do, and what a resurgence of a team can come in. And I think that's what's great about training camp as you get older, is these young guys keep getting younger, and it keeps you young. It keeps you hungry to go out there and do more, because you still have left, you still have plays in the table that'll be made out there and years to be played. And I still love the game, and I think that I still have a lot to do. And I think Tony and Shane were a big part of that. That saying, like, look, you guys are still some of the best players of your position. Like, we have to find a way to go out there and be more consistent than what we were last year. And a lot of that's some other stuff around us, whatever. But if we can do that as 5, then we'll be all right.
I've got a couple questions that are going to completely illuminate my naivete about a lot of things here. Okay.
All right.
First is this: as a center, do you snap the ball differently to different quarters? Does the way that you snap the ball vary from depending on who you're snapping it to?
No. Same each way.
Okay, so does anything change in terms of the guy that is taking the snap, in terms of your approach, anything that you need to know about that player?
I mean, as far as not as far as snapping the ball, but as far as like communication-wise goes, yeah, like when you go from Matt Ryan to Nick Foles to Sam Ehlinger, like they're all different, you know what I mean? So they all have their own little quirks, but as far as like just getting the ball to them, no, it's all the same.
Okay, then lastly, the guys that are alongside you, how long does it take to understand their tendencies, learn them, because that is such a critical part of an offensive line?
Yeah, it's huge. I think that it takes longer than people think. I think in a results-driven business, where in today's world, like, no one has patience to get things going or give it time to develop, it's tough. But at the same time, I think it takes a little bit to figure out, like, receiver gets hurt, guys can go plug in there, right? And you're running a route. Like, offensive line goes, like, you 5 all have to be on the same page.
Right.
It takes a lot longer for one person to step in, or if you have different rotations. It's not just a plug-and-play business in that regard. So I think that it does take time. It takes a long time, and it's also getting to know each other off the field, which is, I think, it's the best part about training camp, is also just getting to learn guys and having that, that camaraderie outside of the game. So
get your juice boxes together, watch some movies, have some fun, right?
Yeah. My rookie year, we tried to sing American Pie. We learned every word to American Pie, which is like the hardest song to learn, by the way. And then we our song of the training camp was Africa by Toto. We played it every day before.
Classic.
I always thought it was I Miss the Rains. I can't believe it's I Bless the Rains. I never would have known that.
I never got it right, but we played it every day before practice, and I swear I still can hear that going out, walking to Anderson and hearing that song. So,
Ryan, good luck. Good luck to Emma as well. My wife and I are fortunate to have 2 young kids, and we've talked about your story and can't even imagine what you've gone through. So rooting for her, and if there's anybody out there that deserves a smooth pregnancy and delivery, it's certainly her. So good luck with everything on the field and certainly off the field as well.
Thanks, guys.
That's Ryan Kelly right there, Colts center. Again, the question, a little Africa. Ryan, they've got a little Africa from our producer, Mark Dykton. Thank you to Ryan Kelly right
as we speak.